Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is D. And today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is the Two of Arrows and Injustice. And, thinking about this card today as I was out and about, the one thing that comes across my mind, okay, and I didn't even see it till later today, and I'll talk about that in a minute, is how closed off she is. She's like this, okay? You've got all of this opportunity, all right, with all this creative energy to open yourself up. And yet today, we're crossed off, okay, which is a closed position, okay? And maybe that's in a conversation that you had with both, the Queen and the Page of Bows, talking about, how you moving forward, and they're nurturing you and they're giving you ideas and stuff like that. And, you've got these great opportunities, with the aces of new beginnings in thought, new beginnings in emotional creativity. Okay. You got a couple fives down here as well, with frustration, endurance. Yesterday, you had to endure what was going on within your life, right? Within your path. And today it's just kind of like, you know what? I'm not dealing with it. I don't want to deal with it. Which tells me that this is an internal decision that you're working on. Okay? Arrows is all about communication and mind. It's air energy. Okay, so thinking about this, you could be all wrapped up in your head, just like that Five of Arrows was back here. What's the decision that you're making internally? Could it go back to that stoat asking you the question of, what happens if you engage with this process? Okay, or that Queen of Bows. It's how do you influence those around you? Okay. So, here you've got this internal dialogue going on. And a week ago, the Two of Bows was sitting up there. This is the card that just fell off. Another two card. Okay, so now you got two twos, two aces, two fives, and two court cards. A lot of twos. Two, 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 two. I don't even know what that means in numerology. But you know what? I bet you it's good. Okay. The other thing that came to mind when I was thinking about this card is, look at the scales. The scales behind her. One's got a feather in it, and the other one's got gold. And they're equal. Each one doesn't weigh out more than the other. And, this card is about injustice in the Wildwood Tarot deck. And, there's some injustice going on within the Wildwood forest. Okay? Especially when a feather equals, let's just call that an ounce of gold. Okay? She's got herself blindfolded, which is similar to the Eight of Arrows, where you've got yourself blindfolded and you've got yourself within your own little pen of arrows around. So she can't even see what is going on around her to create this injustice. She has to go with her senses, okay, with her ears, okay, how she feels about things. And looking at things and saying, you know what? Things aren't right. Things should be going along on a smooth and easy path. But they're not. Don't listen to the gossip and all that other stuff that's out there, because those are fear-based messages to disrupt your thinking, okay, your decision-making. The key to finding injustice is seeking the truth. What's the truth of the matter? Look within. Okay, we talked about that. What's the truth of the matter? What has got you upset? What's got you closed off? Right? Look internally. Okay. The Messenger Oracle deck came out, and it's love without condition. All right. And in order to love without condition, you have to love yourself first. Loving yourself first means that you need to put yourself first. Okay. You need to do things that's right for you. And in doing so, what you do is you open that up. You open up and find out what your truth is. Okay. You go ahead and see what the facts are. And then discern the message, that's coming from looking into that reflection on the waters of life. And maybe that's what's going on. You know what? D, I don't even want to face the truth. This whole story you've been painting for me for the last month, it's all creative and stuff like that. It's all good, but it's just advice. What are you doing with it? Well, what I'm doing with it is I'm continuing to move forward. Number one, I'm the most important person in my life, as you should be the number one person important in your life. Number two, you can only control what you can control. All right? If you're lacking finances, put that action plan in place. Get more finances. If you want that relationship, put that action plan in place. Go out there and meet somebody new. Control what you can control. Because you can't change the past. You can only, learn from it, live for today, and move forward for tomorrow. Use that knowledge that you're gaining, right? Because when you do that, you become wise. And when you become wise, you start asking questions around stuff, all right? And, in this injustice card, you can test the false messages. You can test the people that are out there spreading that gossip, okay? And just, hey, how did you find that out? I don't know. I had a situation where some gossip came across, that I had heard offhand. And there's only a couple people, that knew about that situation. And it came back around. And I was like, you know what? I'm not listening to it. But I know the two people that I talked to, or three people I talked to, I'll never, divulge information to them again. Because I know I can't trust them. I can trust myself. All right? I can trust those that are close to me. That's your inner circle. Okay? And when you test out those messages within your inner circle, you find who's on your side and who's not on your side. Who's got your best interests, who doesn't. And that's part of that injustice, all right? It's great to walk around in life and be naive. But when that comes back and bites you, all right, and the injustice happens, that's when you stop and take notice, all right? And somewhere down the line, instead of helping others out, you start helping yourself out. Say no to those people that are taking advantage of you, and say yes to yourself. Because it's always nice to be given that advice out to others. You ought to do this, you ought to do that, you ought to do this. But do you take your own advice? And that's the message for today. Take your own advice. Look at it internally, right? I'm glad you're closed off, because that means you're growing. That means you're moving forward, okay? You're taking steps in the right direction. Yes, you're enduring, and there's some frustration along the way, and you've got some new beginnings. But guess what? The foot's on the bow. What propels those arrows? The bow does. All right? So, with the foot on the bow, you're not moving forward with those arrows. So take the time to look internally. Take the time to ask yourself those questions. From what the page of bows talks about. Okay? And that question is, who's offering you an opportunity? How would things change if you, engaged with it? or even the Queen of Bows. How do you influence those around you? Where do you need to be more understanding on your, as you're thinking about this path, as you're enduring, as you're moving forward? Ask those questions internally and love yourself unconditionally. That's today's message. All right, this is D for a Spirit's Path. Hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, and give me a thumbs up. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care, God bless, stay safe, and stay warm.